Good evening all. I am Dr.R.Priyadharshini from the Department of Costume Designing Fashion. So today we are going to discuss about the topic the branches of technical textile, that is your Geo Textiles. So Geo Textiles. So Geo Textiles is a specialized fabric we can use in civil engineering like dam construction, building construction and river blankets, and it will also prevent, using this Geo Textiles we can also prevent the soil erosion, and it also enhance the soil stability, drainage and erosion control, everything. So let us be good, we just move on to the topic. So introduction to Geo Textiles. When we talk about Geo Textiles, it is a permeable textile material used for foundation for soil, rock, earth or any geotechnical engineering related material. It is also an integral part of man-made projects, structural system, and it can also be defined as continuous membrane type, linear or barriers. And when we talk about the permeability of geotextiles, it is very low, and it will migrate. It will helps to control the migration of fluid in a construction project. And when we talk about the different functions of geotextiles, it will help in separation, filtration, reinforcement, protection, or drainage. And most probably we are using the fibers like polypropylene or polyester for this geotextiles, because all these fibers are man-made fibers. It will be very helpful to control the soil erosion and drainage and soil stability because of this, because of their characteristics. Because these polypropylene or this polyester, it will acting as a selection filter to prevent soil particles movement. So we just discussed about the what are the fabrics we are using in geotextiles. So here I have showcased about the fabrics we are using in geotextiles for the functions of filtration function, separation function, and for the reinforcement purpose. We can use all these types of fabrics. And next thing, we'll move on to the types of geotextiles. So in previous slide we have discussed what is in the geotextiles. In that we have explained, I have explained like it is a permeable synthetic material and it was made up of polypropylene or propylene. And here the types of geotextiles we have categorized into three different types. One is the woven fabrics, and another one is a non-woven fabrics, and another one is the knitted fabrics. When you come to woven fabrics, we know there are so many woven materials are there in a market. When we discussed about functions of geotextiles. So in these functions of geotextiles, the main function is about filtration. So for filtration purpose, we can use woven fabrics, because the woven fabrics will control the minute particles with the fabric itself, and it will be very helpful for the soil stability also. So large number of geosynthetics or of woven types, which are subdivided into several categories based upon their method of manufacture, and they are manufactured by adopting techniques which are very similar for weaving usual clothing textiles also. And when we talk about woven fabrics, we have to know about the warp fabric and also the weft fabric. Sorry, warp grain and also the weft grain. So warp means it was it's a longitudinal way of yarn, and weft means it is a vertical, it's a horizontal way of yarn. We have to call it as a weft yarns. There are two set of parallel yarns are there. It will passing throughout the fabric, and also it will produce a amount of fabric also. Okay, so the majority of low to medium strength woven geosynthetics are manufactured from polypropylene, which can be in the form of extrude tape and silt film and monofilament or multifilament form. So exactly, we know when it comes to man-made fibers, it will form by the in the method of extrude method. Like it initially we can get a liquid form, and when it was protruding into the pipeline, it will get a monofilament form. That is your extrude tape. Okay, so often a combination of yarn, it is used in warp and weft direction to optimize the performance of the fabric. And when it comes to these are all some of the examples of woven geotextiles we are having. So here the longitudinal yarn we have to call it as a warp yarn, and the vertical yarns like horizontal yarns we have to call it as a weft yarns. So when it comes to non-woven, so non-woven geosynthetics can be manufactured from either short staple fiber and also continuous filament yarn. So short staple fiber is nothing but a small pieces of yarns. We have to connect the small pieces of yarns, then only we can get a long filament yarn. So continuous filament yarn, during the spinning itself we can form a continuous filament yarn. So for woven we can give an example like from a natural we can give an example like cotton. Cotton is a filament yarn, short staple yarn. It's a short staple yarn, and we have to give silk is a continuous filament yarn we can get naturally. So in this non-woven, the fibers can be bonded together by adopting thermal, chemical or mechanical techniques, or a combination of all these techniques we can produce a non-woven yarns. And the type of fiber here we can use it is a geosynthetic, and the properties of the non-woven should be similar to the geosynthetics, and it could be a staple or a continuous. We can use both the yarns we can use here, and it could be manufactured through a process of mechanical interlocking or chemical or thermal bonding methods. So using this method we can manufacture the non-woven geosynthetic fibers. And when it comes to thermally bonded non-woven, the typical thickness of the yarn is about 0.5 to 1 mm. So using this yarn we can produce a good variety of geosynthetic fibers. And when it comes to chemical bonding, the usual thickness of the chemical bonding fiber should be 3 mm, and hand mechanically bonded non-wovens, the typical range it would be 2 to 5 mm. And these are all some of the non-wovens we can using in geosynthetics. And the third category of geotextiles are knitted fabrics. So we know knitted means what? So knitting is we have to call it as an interlooping of yarns. We have to say a knitted fabric. And in this knitted geosynthetics, it was manufactured using another process like which is adopted from clothing textile industry also. Like interlocking a series of loop of yarn, we can produce a knitted fabric. And one of the example of knitted fabric, it was illustrated in the figure I have given here. It could be look like there are so many interlocking methods are there. Interlooping methods are there, like pearl knit is there, interlock is there, and single knit is there, and so many different things are there. And for this geosynthetic we can use this kind of a weaving methodology, and it will produce a good like a bonding fiber, braided fibers are braided things are there. Using this we can produce a good quality of geosynthetics. And normally this geosynthetics we are using in bags like a net structure, and in buses and aeroplanes there are so many hanging things are there. We can hold the water bottles in the geosynthetic, that bonded structure. Okay, so that is a kind of a geosynthetics we are using in aircrafts and buses, and simple thing we have to say in our shoes. There are so many in a front portion of shoe there is a cloth material is there, that is one kind of a geosynthetic material. So here in this video I have explained about what is geotextile, and what all the introduction we have discussed, and what all the different types of geotextiles are there. And in next video we will discuss about the functions of the geosynthetics. Thank you.